Studio B, it's the bottom of the hour and time for the top of the news with new information on our top story. The massive oil spill now in the Gulf of Mexico, and today the Coast Guard's plan to set some of that oil on fire. As you know, this spill continues to drift closer and closer toward the shore. At last check, the oil's leading edge was about 20 miles off the coast of Louisiana. But the Coast Guard reports that setting sections of the slick on fire may be the only way to keep that oil from actually reaching the coast. We're told a strategy like this hasn't been tried in 15 years. With us now, Greg Pollock. He's the Deputy Commissioner for the Oil Spill Prevention and Response Division at the Texas General Land Office. Back in 1995, Greg Pollock's team participated in a controlled burn after an oil spill in the San Jacinto River. Sir, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Shepard. It's good to be here.
I guess you contain this stuff inside fire-resistant booms and you burn it. But what's left of it? And can whatever is left after burning affect wildlife or fish or the shoreline itself?
No, Shepard, actually, there would be no impact on the wildlife. Burning oil is an incredibly effective way of removing it from the surface of the water. What you have left typically would be a very, very hard tar-like substance, not gooey at all, but very, very hard. Some of it might, in fact, sink, but even the residue that's left floating can actually be recovered from the surface of the water.
42,000 gallons a day. That's the figure that we've gotten from officials who say that amount is leaking from this well cap every day. That sounds like a lot of oil to burn to me.
Well, it is indeed, but I'm sure, Shepard, of course, I'm here in Austin, not at the scene, but I'm sure they'll be utilizing other techniques to remove the oil. There are three primary techniques to remove oil from the surface of the water. You can burn it, you can chemically disperse it, which they're doing now, and you can physically or mechanically remove the oil from the surface. I suspect that they'll be using all three. The burn part will just be one component of the comprehensive strategy to remove the oil from the surface of the water.
There's a high-pressure center which is going to move along the coast out across the Florida Panhandle, over the peninsula, and into the Atlantic. And that's going to cause, over the next couple of days, an onshore flow, meaning the wind will be pushing that oil toward the shore at, according to our weather center, some 20 to 25 miles an hour. That must be of great concern.
It absolutely is a great concern. There are some rather sensitive habitats down in that area. I know that the Unified Command down there is taking every step imaginable to protect those sensitive areas. But a southeast wind is really not the best thing for this spill response right now. But I commend the Unified Command down there. They're taking all of the necessary steps. Down here in Texas, we like to say we like to use all the tools in the toolkit, and they're doing absolutely that down there in Louisiana. So we wish them the best.
Oh, well, man, we all do. You know, one of the complications there in Louisiana is that rather than in so many areas you just have, you have a beach or you have a rocky shoreline or whatever. Louisiana has a lot of protected area that goes out many, many miles into the Gulf, right?
Oh, they do indeed. Lots of tidal flats, marshes, very productive marshes, typical beach habitats. They have a little bit of all of it down there in Louisiana, which is a challenge for the spill responders and for the Unified Command.
Is it your sense that if they get ahead of this thing, that in the end, if all goes as hoped, that this will not cause major damage to wildlife and shorelines, or is there the possibility of that no matter what happens here?
Well, I think there's always a possibility that you're going to have some damage. The Unified Command, the spill responders that are working on this spill, again, are trying to optimize all the tools that are available to them to minimize those damages. It's conceivable you could have some shoreline impact. But if the responders get out there quickly and get that removed, they can go to great lengths to minimize those effects. So, certainly you want to pull off a successful response, but you have to be prepared to deal with some of the impacts.
All right, and some great concern for the oyster beds and shrimping areas there that was so devastated during Hurricane Katrina and are now back up and running and supply so many millions of dollars in economic impact on the area. And just for everyday folks, man, we can just hope this thing goes well. An enormous task ahead. It's very good of you to be here. Thanks very much, Greg Pollock.
My pleasure, Shepard.